got a chance to read my Substack today. I talk about a little bit about what we're going to talk about, which is this Gemini full moon. And can you hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me, actually. Uh, Sometimes it doesn't really work. Mm, Okay, I think it's on, so it should work. Okay, perfect. Um, and yeah, I don't know about how it's been for you, but for me, it's been really intense. I kind of hopped on Monday to talk about what I had been experiencing because I was originally doing this live on Monday. And I was just like, I cannot. Like, I literally just felt so deep in my feelings. Um, Granted, like, just coming off of the holiday weekend was a lot, but it was also just like super existential for me, when this energy kind of started hitting me. And the more I started looking into it, the more I started doing, my thing where I basically just do a deep dive on the full moon energy of the month. It was just like, oh, this is exactly what I'm feeling. And you know, all of that to say it was very amplified by the fact that I'm in my luteal phase, um, which I talked about on Monday as well, which is just a really reflective time. Like you, it can be super normal to have a dip in your energy and your personality around this time. And I've been really outspoken about kind of normalizing that because I think unless it's debilitating you or causing you to, just have really depressive thoughts, it can be really normal. And it's because our estrogen is just so low. Um, and, that leads to like just kind of a change physiologically in our neurotransmitters in our brain. And so that is like, it can be very normal, but it also can be a really beautiful time to like, if it is falling with a full moon or a new moon, to like use that experience and the energies around that to just dive deeper into yourself. Because usually when your estrogen is super low, your progesterone super low, you are also like really like sensitive, and sensitivity carries to also your intuition. And so it's a really good time to just journal and ask yourself some deeper questions. And so I've been doing that practice now for like 3 or 4 years, because my cycle has always kind of fallen in between a full and a new moon. Um, and it's either close to a full moon or it's close to a new moon, essentially. And, since doing that, it's really helped ground the emotions that I have during this time. And so this full moon is really special because just being able to reflect back, like I said, on when I started this uh, apothecary, I started it in the middle of, I see, yes, I maybe. Oh, yes, give yourself so much grace. It is, it is a struggle. Um, it is a struggle. I am constantly, trying to incorporate more compassion and kindness for myself. And, it's not something that is so present in our society. And it's especially not something that many Black women get the privilege of experiencing. And so I think it is really radical when we can sit back and be like, wait, like I'm being so mean to myself right now. I'm being so harsh. I'm being very critical. And sometimes I'll sit there and just ask myself, like, whose voice is this? Because oftentimes it's not mine. It's not, my innate thoughts that I'm having are oftentimes when they're critical are coming from other places, like other things that I've heard or other, signs I've gotten throughout life that have caused me to kind of incorporate into my subconscious that kind of critical voice. And so I see you, I hear you. It's difficult. And especially when we're in a full moon energy that's really heady. Like it's a Gemini full moon. So it's Gemini is like very intellectual, super removed from the body, um, essentially takes this kind of like bird eye view and can be like not like a Virgo critical, but not like a Virgo energy critical, but Gemini can be very critical because it's seeing the logic behind what's going on and there's really no emotion attached to it. And that can be a real gift if you're someone who has like an emotional moon sign or something like a Cancer or a Pisces moon, um, where it can be overwhelming how deeply committed and isolated you are to your emotions. To have a Gemini moon come in, a Gemini full moon come in, it kind of liberates you of that and gives you this perspective that maybe you've never been able to have, which is this kind of like heightened, we are not going to be emotional about it. We're just going to see the truth for what it is. Um, and, that energy can bring a lot of clarity. It can bring a lot of, um, like, just clearance to the things that maybe were like gunk in your mind, in your space. And, uh, that can be a little harsh. Like just the realizing of truth itself can be super harsh, especially when attached to this energy, which I feel like I like to think of like full moons, because I do like to give this like scientific, spiritual perspective. And like, I think for a long time, I was always like, I don't want to be too like woo woo and like whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes there's just things you can't really explain. And I'm absolutely okay with saying that as a scientist. And I feel like for me, like I am incredibly connected to the moon energies and like they read really true for me pretty much every single month. Um, and this month, like I said, having that like clarity come through, I just asked myself like some really deep questions, like just what is the truth of this situation that I'm not seeing, like things that could help me kind of like zoom out and not be so attached. And one of the things I actually came to in my own journaling process was this idea of purpose, because I've been really playing with that a lot. This past year, like I said, I quit my job, which was essentially my whole life. Like I had built up to this point of becoming what I was, and I was so unhappy. I was so drained and burned out and dealing with just all of these chronic conditions, chronic health conditions, autoimmunity, all the things, hair loss, which later in the month I have a piece coming out on hair loss. That's a super deep dive into every single thing I did to uh, completely grow my hair back out. Honestly, the pictures are incredibly disturbing just because I wanted to show like the reality of what it can look like when you're just so out of alignment and you can't, it's hard to see. Like it's so hard to see because sometimes we're so attached to the outcome of things that we can't really see the through line here. And like we're so attached to our plan, and how everything looks that we can't get out of our own way and see that there's an easier, more peaceful path to take. And that's really where I was at a year ago today. I was taking the hard way. I was very much like just pushing myself through something that I didn't like. Um, and it's not to say that everything you don't like isn't for you. I think that there is something to be said about like discipline and dedication, and that's all great, but the through line of that should be okay. I feel happy still, and yeah, sorry, give me a second. Okay, lost my train of thought. But yeah, all of that to say, when I was experiencing the energy this month and just kind of receiving some clarity that I haven't had in a really long time, um, it was really like eye-opening. It was very much like, oh, this is the truth, you know? And like I can't sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna sit here and get emotional about it. It just is this way. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. So much so much surrender. Um, so much surrender. And sometimes in that path, within the surrender, you can find yourself clinging to even how the surrender can look. Like, you know, you can feel like, okay, now I'm out of that, like something should fit into place, you know, like now I'm back in alignment, like everything should work, you know, and we get clung to this idea that okay, we fixed our life, like fixed, you know, everything is perfect now, you know, and I think there's this energy around perfection that for me has always kind of like trickled into different areas of my life that for this the first time I'm having to really sit with and be like, "Oh, that's an element of perfection. That's an element of perfection," and just, like, name it. I'm not sure if, you do parts work at all, but, that's really helped me just being like, "Okay, this is my protector part that uses perfectionism as its protection." And that came up for me a lot because I was starting to ask myself questions around purpose. And I was like, what's my purpose here if it's not, you know, to be a doctor in the traditional sense? Like what's my role? And service has always been really big for me. And like what's my service? And the truth that I got from that was literally like so it just like not what I thought the answer was gonna be like. And so it took me a little while to, like, sit with and just be like, "Damn, that's interesting." Like, "Okay, let me just sit with this." But the answer that I got for myself was, sometimes it's just, like, living. Like, sometimes it's just, like, in the day to day, doing the things that bring you joy, like going to the workout class, you know, sharing the thing that inspired you, like it's these little tiny acts and sometimes we're not supposed to know what the overarching theme is. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly what we need, and that was exactly what I needed to hear because it was like, "Okay, stop putting so much pressure on yourself to have this, like, overarching purpose. Can your purpose this week just be to, like, you know, write a beautiful poem and, you know, host this full moon circle and maybe help someone feel seen with something you post or uh, yeah, just can it just be, like, in the day to day, like, just doing you and the things that, like, you know, come to you naturally, so it was, like, a really eye-opening moment for me, and I was just like, "Damn, like, it can just be way easier than most of us are making it." And and I think that that really highlights just the strength of this Gemini full moon, which is just like, sometimes you'll get the answer you don't really wanna hear, right? Like, that's not, like, exciting for me to hear, but it was the truth and it was what I needed, exactly what you said, and so I think, you know, I did write within my, posts today, some journaling questions that I used this month, that really supported me, and if you haven't done them yet, I definitely recommend doing them and just sitting with, that space. Um, okay. Is there anything else I want to speak about? I think that's it. Do you have any questions? Um, I've loved that you've been kind of using the comment space a lot. I love it. I really want more like engagement between all of the people that are in the apothecary because I just feel like we all just need more spaces to connect and make friends and hear, be heard and seen. And yeah, so I'm hoping that it just keeps growing and more people can use it as that kind of resource. Um, and yeah, definitely feel free. Anyone who's in the apothecary, the inner circle can always send me like anything they want to see for the month. If you want me to like research and post about a topic. I just got someone message me about, um, what's it about? Oh, it was winter, how to stay healthy during the winter for like adults and kids. And so that should be coming out in the middle of the month. And it's a full breakdown of everything I do, including all the herbs, all the supplements, all the like routines I follow usually when it's colder outside or when I know that, um, it's like flu season. So that's coming out later this month. There's also a piece coming out, like I said, about hair loss that I'm really excited about. I honestly wasn't sure I was going to share it because it's incredibly vulnerable and it's really it really highlights a really dark time in my life, honestly, where I was really lost. And this was even before this was before I quit my job, but this was like a long time before I quit my job. This was kind of in the middle of when I was working this clinical job. And yeah, and the pictures are, like I said, really intense. And so it was really difficult for me to write it, but I know that it'll serve so many people. It's pretty much a full, like, how to beat autoimmunity and hair loss in general. So it really is every single thing I did, and I broke it down super intensely. I think eventually, if there's enough people who really enjoyed that, enjoy that piece or like really utilize that piece, it'll eventually be just like a mini, maybe like a mini session I do just to like take people through the ins and outs of it because uh, it's an intense protocol that I followed just to I mean, I had severe, like, hair loss, so it had to be intense, but it works for anyone that's struggling with autoimmunity, so that will come out later this month as well, and then if you're also a part of the Inner Apothecary Circle, you're gonna be getting on Mondays the Black Girl Muse, uh, edition. Oh, great, yeah, and that's what I wrote in there. It'll work for any kind of hair loss because the journey that I had to take was that I had to hit everything, every single angle of hair loss because um, that's just how inflamed and just dysregulated my body was. So yeah, this will help with anyone who's struggling with hair loss. It's genuinely like it's gold. I wish I had every single thing that I wrote in here when I was struggling because basically it was just months of me like just going deep into like research and holistic stuff and just like learning. I was reading like 4 books a week or something, like just so it's like a dense, I have a dense knowledge now of this stuff. And I really just wanted to kind of put it all in one place and share it for whoever's experiencing that because it's so interesting. It's like you just get like more fragile, like not fragile, but you like if things are out of alignment, you're just so much more prone to like shit hitting the fan. And so like I feel like, in my 20s, I was like super able to just like keep going and like push through and drill through things. And I mean, I did like med school and started residency in my 20s. I was all good. But towards the end of my 20s, like into my 30s, it's just been like, if one thing is wrong or out of whack, it's my body immediately tells me. And there is actually some evidence in my medical astrology of why that is, which I don't have to get into right now. Medical astrology is like a um, whole different playing field, but it's just so interesting how like these patterns are actually in our astrology charts of like why certain things are the way they are. Um, so I can pretty much always count on my body to tell me when I'm out of alignment first, uh, essentially. Okay. So with that being said, just kind of rest into your body, rest into your seat. Try to find a comfortable seat with your feet on the ground or with your legs crossed in front of you. And let's just start to take some deep breaths as we prepare to receive these crystal bowls. So we'll take a big deep breath in through the belly. Exhale, sighing out. We'll take another deep breath in through the body, filling up the belly, and hold. Exhale, sighing out. Allow your body to come into the seat. Start breathing at your own natural cadence and just allow your mind to rest here. Start to focus on the pressure of your seat bones with the seat beneath you, and focus on your breath. Option to close down your eyes, allowing for deeper inner connection. Gemini is connected to the mind, the crown chakra, the ajna chakra, allowing sound to stimulate and settle in its place, bringing clarity, consciousness, and mental resilience. Allowing our deepest desires to be communicated in truth and giving us the courage to receive those messages. allowing that sound to settle and bring your hands to your chest, hands together. And you bow in gratitude. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Candace, for being here and being so engaged. Yeah, this was really special, and this will happen once a month. Um, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take some questions now. Um, and yeah, if not, then we'll just continue on our day. Hopefully, keep having a lovely day. Okay. I did get one question that I want to put on here just because people tend to watch these later. Oh, you too, love. You too. Thank you for coming. But I did want to say, because someone had sent me a message about the bone broth recipe. So I just want to talk about that for a second so that when people watch this, they can hear this. When you're making bone broth, it absolutely will boil down if you do it on the stove, and you'll have to be really good about watching to make sure you're continually adding water, especially if you have it on like a medium high heat. The way around that is by doing a crock pot or a slow cooker, and that'll retain more of the moisture since it's slowly releasing that throughout the cooking process. But since you're cooking it for 12 to 24 hours, it can release a lot of the water. And so I had a question because someone in the community had made it one time and it yielded like 2.5 cups, and then the second time it yielded 6 cups, and so she was unsure whether or not it was cooked since the second time was so much more. But if you're cooking it slowly, then it should be cooked by the time that you get to the second, or by the time you get to the end of the 12 to 24 hours. I say 12 to 24 because it's usually done by 12 hours, especially even if you're keeping it on a little simmer. But you do have to filter out a lot of those particles at the end. So making sure you have like a strainer to do that with. Hopefully that clarified something. If it didn't, definitely ask me the question again. And maybe, maybe I need to add more details to the post. But okay. Thank you so much. Happy full moon in Gemini, loves. I'll see you next month. Oh, actually, two more things. I have two guests coming next week, one next week and one the week after. Next week is going to be a PCOS journal person who is pretty much a specialist in PCOS, and I'm going to be asking her all things PCOS. So if that's something that you struggle with, definitely be there for that. That'll be for all paid subscribers. And then I will also record that. So we'll post later. And then the week after, I have someone coming on who specializes in fibroids. Glam Breezy, she's amazing. She's like a fibroid coach, and she just, I mean, her knowledge about fibroids is endless. So she'll be coming on the next week. Okay, that's it. Have a lovely day.